Welcome to the Engage One Learning Podcast. Everything you need to know about the Cobb County School District's expectations to exceed the state and federal requirements. I'm your host, Natalie Hutchins, Title I Program Supervisor. Family and community engagement is known for the power it brings to each community. How do we, as a district, support our various communities and ensure that our neighborhood schools tailor engagement in a special way? I know that begins with you, the parent facilitator, the school teacher, the bus driver, the cafeteria worker, and a host of other staff members who bring smiles to children, parents, caregivers, and local businesses. Heads up, there are 4 building staff capacity trainings that we provide throughout the year. This year, we will begin in the pandemic. We will not have any face-to-face large group trainings. It is imperative that you be able to engage your audience through a platform like Microsoft Teams. Let's get our minds set together. The actual course content is in CTLS, the Title I Building Staff Capacity Powerful Partnerships training. We recommend that you favorite the course in CTLS by clicking the yellow star next to the course title. All school staff will need to participate in the training. This includes all staff except bus drivers, cafeteria staff, and custodians. The first and third sessions, we ask that families participate in them. So, the question we must ask ourselves is, how do we get all those stakeholders involved? Let's jump into our learning topic for the day. If you have not already done so, you may hit the pause button to take a moment to download and organize the documents that will help you complete the building staff capacity training for session 1. Okay, you have your documents printed and organized in the order shown in the course module, right? Awesome. We will begin with organizing the documentation in the order the course module suggests. It will really help you to follow along. So get comfortable. To complete the documentation for the first building staff capacity training that you will host with your school, we will read and follow the sections listed in the Read This First document. Let's begin under the heading Organizing the Training. Remember, this is the training tutorial. However, when you are actually preparing to share the training with staff, it will be paramount that you complete and mark each number with a check mark before moving to the next numbered item. Number 1, the professional learning training must be completed between July 27th and September 11th, 2020. This training is for all school staff. Check with your principal and determine which dates and times works best for the training. Mark down the training date, time, and the platform that you will use. For instance, Teams or perhaps Zoom. 4. Open the checklist for building school staff capacity. Type in the date of the meeting in the appropriate blank and print out the checklist. Open the PL agenda template that you will be completing in small groups. Insert your school's name, insert the training date, the training time, and print out the agenda. We're going to be talking about printing a lot, but remember, everything you have is also on CTLS and will be provided in a virtual environment. So, in the template itself that you will be hosting, there is an agenda. The agenda is very important though because you'll be hosting the sessions at various times. So each time you host a session, you will need a separate agenda. This is for documentation purposes only. 6. Open the PL sign-in sheet template. Insert your school name, the training date, training time, and print it out. One thing to also remember, in a virtual environment, you may not have physical signatures. And again, that's okay. Depending on what virtual platform you use, you could also print out that virtual platform and attach it to the sign-in sheet and use it for signatures. 7, open the PL presentation slides. Presentation slides are also in this folder. Print one copy. Remember, do not hand this copy out at training. This is simply for documentation only. Open the FY21 evaluation paper copy. Print a copy. Again, we're saying print a lot, but we know that you'll have a virtual platform in which you'll be hosting. You may want to copy and paste the QR code or the professional learning um, actual URL and just put it into the chat during your opening session, depending on which professional learning tool that you use, whether it's Zoom or Teams or a Skype meeting, and have people fill that out. These are strictly for documentation purposes, but we'll have to be creative when ensuring that everyone can print them out or at least access the actual surveys. Step 8, open the evaluation, print the copy. Step 9, invitations to staff. This is where the fun begins. We have to invite staff. So we'll talk about a couple of ways that you can do that, but we really recommend that you meet with your principal and decide what's the best way for them to communicate. A lot of people have different types of calendars that they could use. You can send them an email. You're going to make a copy of the email or however you documented that you invited everybody. Um, and you're going to make sure that you save that. You might want to send a picture of your calendar, a copy of the flyer. It's totally up to you. Step 10 is important to the Professional Learning 1 and Professional Learning 3. We are asking that parents be invited to either one of these sessions. We really recommend the first session because in the first session, we're doing an assessment of your school, and it's really great to have parent feedback with that. Determine who will invite the families and how those invitations will be communicated. You'll need to discuss that with your principal. Remember, parent invitations must be set in two ways. We do see have CTLS parent, so that might be an option for you. You can send a flyer home. Unfortunately, students aren't in school, so we can't put flyers in book bags, but you can post it on your school website or an email broadcast or other social media. Make a copy of the flyer or whatever you send home to the families. Print the school website if that's where you posted it. And these are just a few recommendations. So really just work with your principal to decide what is the best way for you to reach out to families. And step 11, making the copies. We use the word print a lot. We do need all these items printed for documentation purposes, but how you get them completed is going to be up to you. Make a copy of the agendas that you have for each session, the sign-in sheets, any handouts, and the evaluation itself. Moving on to delivery option A. This is a requirement. The first session is to be hosted in small group. So a lot of times when you meet with your teachers may have planning time or they might have their CCCs. This is the time that we recommend that you meet with your teachers in small group and that you invite the parents to all of those different times so they can pick the best time for them to join in one of those sessions. Step 12. Before the training, make sure that you access the professional learning inside of CTLS. Refer to the document How to Assess the Assignments in CTLS. Follow the directions found in this handout to ensure you can access the training. Go through each of the tasks on your own before you actually host the training. Make sure you have all the materials prepared and that you want to do that a couple of times so that you're very familiar before you begin to present these sessions to participants. Please note, it is best if you review all the windows in the navigation pane and really understand how to use that left-hand side of CTLS so that you don't get stuck in any place. And to actually deliver them, remember, it's small group and it's going to be virtual. It says on step 14 to go to the location, but if you're using an electronic platform, you're going to want to go to that platform. That would be the location. Make sure you have all the copies ready, sign-in sheets, agendas, evaluation handouts. We won't really be bringing pens, but make sure that you are prepared with those documents that are uploaded. 15, in a face-to-face setting like the one that you're going to have, when you're on campus, we ask that you have a projector, sound, and laptop so that you can actually display the training. But in a virtual setting, you want to ensure that you know how to navigate that actual training. So if you're using Zoom or Teams or whatever you're using, make sure you know how to use that platform. As participants enter the building or log in, make sure that they know that the agenda is there and what they're going to be expected to do. Make sure you welcome your group and review the agenda with them. Make sure one staff member logs into CTLS and navigates through the task. They will be responsible for recording the team's responses at the end of the module. I want to let you know that the module reflection has a space for 10 participants to be logged in under one session. So if you have more than 10, you're going to need more than one person to do this. So we really kind of checked in with everybody last year, and most schools had teams of 10 or less. So this would be good for each of you guys to make sure everybody is signed in. So 10 or less is what we're considering a small group. There are a few additions that you may or may not use depending on how you are navigating, but it says connect the laptop to the projector and sound. So make sure everything works inside of your platform. You're going to go to navigate to module 1, click the participant response tab, then you're going to mark that one complete. You're going to navigate to the assignment 2 and repeat for assignment 3 or your assessment. Okay. And to close out this small group session, steps 26 through 28, you're going to utilize the laptop to facilitate the session to collect the group's responses and the survey. It's very important that we take the professional learning survey. Then you're going to ask the parent to complete that QR code for the evaluation, and you're simply going to end the meeting and tell them thank you for coming. The next delivery option is option B. We do understand that people are out sick. They may not have been able to participate in the small group. There may be someone who just couldn't, get there at that time. So if you need to host this with an individual, we are going to give you some directions to do that. So basically, you're just going to want to provide access to the staff member who didn't make the group meeting, and they can do it independently. Each one of these courses is designed for people to be able to navigate onto CTLS and get everything that they need. So step 29 says, before the training, provide the staff access to the PL1 by giving them the how to access the assignment letter, and it shows them how to, go on. And it is a best practice to keep a record of those who did not attend the small group session because it is required that everybody participate so that you can follow up with them, especially during this virtual time where people may be doing a variety of different things and meeting with students and families at different times. We just want to make sure that everyone, um, has access and has what they need. Now we're going to move on to sharing the session discussion with staff. Locate the Excel sheet of the participants response tab where we entered it into CTLS. The spreadsheet will be uploaded to Office 365 after the window for the session closes on 9/11. So you guys know that when everybody puts their participant responses in the actual course on CTLS, it gathers all of that information. So what our office does is we create the Excel sheets and we put them right into your volume 1 for you in the training section so that you can have all of those. So you don't have to look for them. You don't have to pull those reports. We do all of that for you. But it's really good, like step 7 says, that we recommend that you share the responses with the people that participated. You may want to email the staff that spreadsheet. You may want to share the information with just the group itself that participated, maybe a lead teacher. You may also want to share this on Office 365 or in a Teams data folder to add the information for all the staff to see. Whatever your school is comfortable with is what we asked for you to do. It's probably good that you work with maybe an academic coach to ask them how they usually share data and feedback with the teachers and all the other staff members, maybe during a faculty meeting or something like that, so that people could see kind of where their school is and how they decided as a team to move forward. All right, so we're really wrapping it up here. Everybody's done a really, really good job. So now we just want to talk about completing the documentation. So step 30. Gather the following documents and put them in this order. The cover page for PL1, checked off and signed by you, the parent facilitator. The checklist for building capacity of staff, make sure your principal has signed it. Copy of the agenda, evidence of the family invitation, evidence of the staff invitation, a copy of the completed sign-in sheets or printed sign-in sheets from your virtual platform, a copy of the presentation slides, and a copy of the feedback and evaluation. You're going to gather all of that and you're going to scan it, all those documents, into the school's parent involvement building staff capacity folder on Office 365. That's Volume 1, Section 5. Make sure that you name the file your school name underscore PL1 and underscore the date of the first session. We know sometimes people have several sessions, so whichever is the first date, you can just name it that. You're going to place the copied materials in the family engagement binder. Make sure when you're scanning everything, you scan in color because we do use these files for monitoring. Now that you have completed the My Assignment task, you will need to navigate back to CTLS. Click the red Add Edit button at the top right-hand side of the screen to type the word complete in the text box that appears. Then, you may push the red Submit Response button, which is located at the bottom of the page. You must submit each assignment or assessment in order to complete the module. Whew. All right, you guys did great. This concludes the training for the first of the 4 building capacity trainings. So mark your calendar for when your start date is, and you can actually navigate back to CATLS and mark this assignment as complete. See you next time.